Good morning friends and welcome to the pre-market view. Friends, we had a lackluster session both in US and European markets. In fact, from Europe, we had a negative news that the overall economic forecast in terms of the GDP growth has been downgraded to almost 2.7% in Italy. And the bigger question that people have is that now that we are already through with the major easing program, both from the ECB front as well as from the Fed in terms of QE3, and the fact that most of the economic data points that are coming out, whether it's from China or Japan or even for that matter from Europe, it continues to be weak. The manufacturing sector globally continues to show weakness. So in that kind of a backdrop, how long this kind of an easing program can really take the equity markets up? So it's not at this point of time very clear as to what kind of triggers are we looking at going forward. Friends, Brent crude continues to remain slightly at a higher level of 110. Remember, it had a cut of about 3 to 4% and it's on its way to recovery. And looking at the Asian markets, most of the markets are trading firm. The Japan market and as well as the Hang Seng is up about 0.3 to 0.4%. And even SGX Nifty is suggesting that we are going to have a mildly positive start of about 10 to 12 points. In terms of flows, friends, the foreign institutional investors were sellers of about 74 crore, which is not a big number, but the fact that this has come after 3 to 4 days of strong positive intake, this number is slightly negative in the backdrop of the political developments that are happening, and the domestic institutions were sellers to the tune of about 337 crore. On that note, let me invite Sharekhan to take us through important F&O cues and the strategies that we could have in the F&O market. Hi Sharekhan, good morning.
Good morning.
We are seeing some kind of soft movement or dull movement in the Nifty for the past couple of days after seeing that big spike, and there are no real immediate triggers. Politically things are not very clear, but if you could just share your thoughts in terms of what the F&O data is suggesting.
See, from past couple of trading sessions, we have been seeing that the FIs were net buyer by more than around 2,000 crore in few days, but after a long period of time the FIs have taken a pause and we have seen some unwinding taking place both on the futures and options front from FIs side, and we have seen that they were net seller of around 778 crore in yesterday's trade. Also, despite of selling from FIs and also market being closing in a negative trend, we have seen that some long positions being accumulated in the market as the PCR ratio is still into a comfortable zone of 1.16. We believe that the bias for the market is still positive.
Okay, and what are the major strikes around which one can really expect support as far as Nifty is concerned?
We have seen that the implied volatility in past couple of trading session has been increasing, say by around 2 to 6%, and in yesterday's trade also we have seen the same. Now, focusing on the individual strikes, 5,500 call and put options has seen a good activity in open interest in yesterday's trade, whereas on the higher side 5,600 and 700 call option has seen a good activity. Now, due to domestic uncertainty, we have seen that the markets have given up their gains and have been slowly moving towards the southward direction. So what we feel is that 5,500 and 5,483 would remain a crucial level to watch on, or what we can say is also an important support level in the market going forward, because 5483 is the straddle break-even point for the current series. So again, if we break 5483 and then again enter on the low side, then probably the trend would change.
Right. Any other interesting ideas that you can share with us?
See, market have been having a lackluster session and it's been continuously drifting. Though SGX Nifty is trading with marginal gain of 5 to 6 points, we'll try to play on the negative side on intraday basis because the European and American indices are in negative. So what we have identified, one can go short on Aban with resistance of 424 rupees 55 paisa and Balrampur Chini with resistance of 67 rupees 70 paisa.
Right, Sharekhan, thanks a lot for that update.
Thank you.
Friends, back home we had a weak session with Nifty losing almost 45 points and Sensex losing in fact more than 100 points. As the political uncertainty with the withdrawal of the support by the Trinamool Congress has created some kind of a negative sentiment, but the broad feelers that the market is getting is that at least in the near term there is no reason to believe that there is going to be a midterm poll, and some of the other parties, whether it's Samajwadi Party or BSP or some of the other smaller parties, will actually give some kind of a support which will help the government to continue in power for at least some more time. That is still the time at least the Gujarat elections are held. So which is definitely a bit of a relief for our markets, though the market will keenly watch out for what really happens as far as gaining this support from the other parties is concerned. In fact, when this entire controversy is on, the government has actually focused on the reforms part, and we have seen some more action on that front with the notification of FDI into the multi-brand retail, single brand retail, the domestic carriers, the power exchanges, and so on and so forth. Also, we are hearing that the announcement with respect to FDI in the insurance and pension sector is also proposed. So the government has not lost its focus, it's not on the back foot. So the fact that there is not going to be any kind of a rollback is definitely a big relief for markets. Talking about the companies that have hit the news today, first of all, friends, Dr. Reddy's has launched amoxicillin tablets and few other forms also in the US markets, and one can go long on Dr. Reddy's with a stop loss of 1630 at a target of about 1720 to 1755. Friends, Suzlon subsidiary RE Power has got a contract to supply 8 turbines to one of the companies, so one can go long on Suzlon with a stop loss of 15.5 and a target of about 18 to 19.5. And friends, as I said, the government has announced the FDI in the insurance and the pension sectors, and some of the companies which would be benefited because of this development are Max India and Reliance Capital. So one could look at going long in both these stocks in today's market. And in case of cement companies, we have negative news, and for two of the cement companies, namely Gujarat Ambuja Cement, that is Ambuja Cement, and Grasim, two of the coal blocks could be cancelled. So one could go short on Ambuja Cement and Grasim both. In case of RCom, there are reports that the company is looking at hiking the tariff by about 25% to meet its margin. We've seen the RCom stock running up in the past few days, but there is some more upside to that, so one can go long with a stop loss of 56.5 and a target of about 59 to 62. And in case of Maruti, the second shift at Manesar plant is going to be commissioned by October. That would bring up the production to almost 100% level, which is a positive news for Maruti, so one can go long with a stop loss of 1260 and a target of about 1305 to 1325. In case of Coal India, the Competition Commission has initiated a probe for unfair trade practices and using its dominant position while supplying the coal. So one can go short on Coal India with a stop loss of 371 and a target of about 357 to 351. And in other news, friends, the government is also considering divestment of 9.5% in NTPC. And in case of company specific news, there was a block deal of about 4.5% of equity in Geometric Software at 106 rupees per share. That's it from all of us, friends. Have a great weekend and see you on Monday morning.